And so you're already seeing an improvement to your bottom line with this investment.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
And so Sheena, looking into the future, are you looking to adopt other conservation practices on your property?
Well, I know that the soil sensors are coming next. We've talked back and forth about things like I do need to bring in, given it's an orchard, I'm still looking at how we're going to get in more pollinators and companion planting. And so we've been, that's the area that we need to explore. We kind of are right next to a creek, so next to a riverbed. So there is places there that we can try and bring. And I'm not sure if I'm using all the right terminology here, but so I know that we do want to bring in, do some of that companion planting, pollinators, bring in things that, I mean, hedgerows. These are all things that we are looking at to see what would be the next one. Wind is a big factor there, so we have been thinking of, what is the most optimal way to build up a wind barrier there. I think we will continue with some kind of cover cropping or some other ways to maintain the orchard floor. That's going to be something that we are going to keep thinking and exploring the latest way to do that. Is that the right answer? I'm not sure.
I think we had also discussed a little bit of forest stand improvement and some brush management. That eucalyptus grove, you have to clean that up and make that a more usable space.
Absolutely. And then I think we've talked about getting owl boxes because we've got like everybody else, some kind of pest management that we can do perhaps in a more friendly manner. So that's another one that I'm very keen to get going quickly. I saw them in my next door neighbor's thing. I want that. Yeah.
So Sheena, as a beginning farmer rancher, there's here in California, we have a huge interest of beginning farmer ranchers, a lot of entrepreneurs who want to get into agriculture, and not only here in California, but across the country. What would you say to a new beginning farmer or entrepreneur who's trying to get into the ag space? What key advice would you give to someone who's wanting to get into ag for the first time?
Well, I can say that, talk to people. I think one of the things I have discovered that the ag world, not only is it, it's obviously fascinating for me, it's new, but I found that it's full of very nice people. I really, people are always willing to help each other. And that is something that I have really admired and appreciated. So I would say that if we have to, look around you, see what else is happening in your neighborhood and try and reach out, make connections. There are a couple of nonprofits in the area that of small farmers that I have been very fortunate to make connections with, Kitchen Table Advisors, as well as ALBA, and these are two nonprofits in the area who support small farmers, and they in turn are really, they're always willing to, give you advice and help you make connections with other farmers. So I think that would be my thing, to reach out, find sources of people in your own area. That's the most, the more local you can get, I think the most you will benefit, at least for me.
So working with local partners so that you're starting to build that local community within your.
Yes. Yeah, I think community will be my biggest one. I think definitely.
Absolutely, and so Sheena, it's Asian American History Month, and above that, I think that you're a woman farmer, and that's something very special to us here for NRCS across the country. We're always looking to reach more women farmers, and we're seeing more women get into the agriculture space. There are many challenges along the way. A challenge that maybe you would like to share with us today?
I think you just feel you may not belong. I would say as especially in the area that I was walking into, it wasn't like there were too many people who looked who were exactly like me, but that didn't really. I don't know if that's a challenge. It's just something that you feel like maybe this is not your space, and is it okay to be here? But but that was quickly overcome because I found that no one is stopping you from it, right? So I think that's maybe that's the beauty of being in California. You always belong, I feel. So I feel, I felt welcome. I definitely felt a little awkward in the beginning, starting my first few phone calls because I'm looking like, who are you and what do you want to do here? And, I'm calling them up about pumps and, and and wells and things like that I didn't know about. But I soon found that everybody was very friendly and ready to. So I would say that was it's more just your believing that you don't belong, but you just have to walk in and do it. I think, right? So
just getting in there, getting into the community and doing it.
And I would say if you're in California, that's not a challenge because everybody welcomes you anyway. So.
Such a diverse state, right? And
exactly. That's what I think. I don't feel like, whether I'm, Asian, Indian, whether I'm not, whether I may not speak Spanish as much as I wish I did. In some cases, I wish I spoke more Spanish or wish I spoke more something else. But those are things that you can get around because in the end of the day, I think everybody wants to get to the same end goal, and people are willing to help each other out. So.
Sheena, looking into the future, I spent a little bit of time speaking with Kyle over the last couple of days, and he mentions that you've got some great dreams as to what this farm will look like in the end. So paint us a picture. What does your farm look like when you're fully up and operate, when you're 100% and you reached your dream?
Well, my dream is, as Kyle said, I am an educator too. So there is that aspect about growing local. I think a lot of these, I believe this particular ranch actually had fruit trees on it at some point, and a lot of places the orchards have been got pulled out. So I kind of am very excited on bringing a fully functional orchard back in the property, and bringing a place where people can come and learn and understand what does it take. I'm following organic practices. So what does that really mean? And so are all the farmers who are who are leasing. What does it take to grow organically? What does it take to grow locally? In a place like California where things are expensive, and what does it mean? So I think that whole aspect of it is is very important to me. So my kind of looking into the future is to being able to bring more people to visit, to see this, or just be as an educational tool almost, right, to others that this is what is possible right here.
Absolutely, and that's a beautiful dream. So when is the right time to? I'm a new farmer. When is the right time to call the NRCS?
No, I think you should call them right in the beginning.
So you got to call us right off the bat.
Right, I think so, because I think there were some things that Kyle told me that were not even on my list of questions, right? I didn't even know what questions to ask him. And so Kyle's walking around and he said, well, you could, and then he says something. I'm like, what? Really? So this is what I'm saying. I think it's like, I almost feel like this should be your first call should be NRCS, right? And they I think, I don't know if you have a checklist of what are the things that you could be doing as a beginner farmer, or whether that's something that you guys provide. But I feel like that visit with the NRCS, somebody like you would be a fantastic place, because you don't even know what questions to ask. I think that's the biggest challenge you have, right? You don't know where to start, right? So.
So Kyle, when a farmer first comes to the office, what's the step? What are the step-by-step process before they get into a contract?
First step is we go out to the field and we do a resource inventory. So the first thing I did with Sheena was she gave us a call and we set up a field visit, and I just went out and walked the field with her. And like she was saying, I was pointing some stuff out that she maybe didn't necessarily know, but it was all in a very educational way. You know, this is her properties, and so I was trying to share different ideas that could happen, because there's not always one correct way, but you know, the more information you have, the better you can be. And then from there, it's asking them what their goals are and what their intentions are, and seeing where we can fit that in with our programs, and getting an understanding for what their huge vision is for their farm, and then discussing the different alternatives that we have. You know, whether it be a hedgerow or a pollinator conservation cover crop, or a fancy irrigation system, we offer a lot, and so I think that's the next step, is just to figure that out. And it's really down to the producer what they want. You know, this is Sheena's plan more than anything. You know, as complex as it was, and as much help as we provided, this is her vision that we're putting on the ground. And then from there, it's we take care of some of the design stuff, and we go back and forth and make sure it all looks right. And then we set you up with an application and submit the application, and we'll see if we get some funding for it.
And so, Kyle, what does the timeline look like from the first day that you get started to the day that you actually then are able to implement your plan?
Typical timelines that we aim for are about 6 months, but those do vary depending on batching periods and depending on what the workload's looking like. But I think that with Sheena, the first meeting was in November of 2019, and I believe that she was funded in May of 2020. I believe it was May of 2020. Yeah, and so she was breaking ground about a month after that, getting stuff set up and getting ready, and going back and forth. So it was a really quick turnaround, which was fantastic to see.
It was, yeah. And we wanted to try and get a lot of it done in January, because we know that's a time when we could turn off water, and you know, we were not actively farming at that point. It was just the cup. So it was, and we were just off by maybe a month off because of, you know, the timing. But yeah, it is pretty amazing that we got to pull it all off just quickly.
Absolutely. And so thank you so much, Sheena, Kyle. I know we've only scratched the tip of the iceberg, and you know, at some point, I want to invite you back once you've got your you know, as you roll out your program and we learn more. You know, today was just as a special segment for beginning farmers and ranchers in celebration of Asian American History Month, but also more than anything, so that the new and beginning farmers can learn about the step-by-step process and hear it directly from other farmers who have been doing it, and then our soil conservationists in the field who are supporting you. Sheena, before we leave today, is any last tip or a piece of advice that you could give to a new and beginning farmer, to another woman farmer who's looking to get into agriculture?
No, I think I don't think so. I don't have any. I think I've a lot of fortunate, being fortunate and being at the right time. You know, meeting the right people. This is all. There's a lot of that involved too, right?
Yeah.
Making the right phone calls to the right people, and starting it off at the right place. That's all I would say. So there is no one tip. I don't think I've done enough I don't believe I've done enough as yet to give advice, but maybe, you know, check in with me. Maybe in 5 years I might have something. Not right now.
Kyle, any last comments for our beginning farmer ranchers across the country?
Call NRCS. Have us come out to your field. We'll have a conversation. You know, it's not just financial assistance. It's technical assistance. It's the knowledge base that's there, and that's where you can start building those connections with people around you, with other partners. So just getting us out in the field helps out a lot.
I agree. I absolutely agree. It's not just the financial, it's the fact that there is one. I think for me, that was perhaps the most wonderful thing, even when we're talking about something like the forestry thing, it's like, where do you start, right? Who do you trust? Where is that one place that we know you have the correct information provided to you, you know, from a person that you can trust completely? And so that, I think that technical knowledge is what I think NRCS is providing us, and that's very, very valuable. Yeah.
So there you have it. You've heard it today directly from farmer out of San Benito County, is it San Benito County and the city of San Benito?
San Juan Bautista.
San Juan Bautista, Ms. Sheena Vaidyanathan, and soil conservationist Kyle Venell. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you much.